Okay,
One second, the YouTube is just catching up.
okay.
Okay. We are live and we do have quorum, so whenever you are ready.
Okay. This meeting will be live streamed, recorded, and available on the internet by visiting the county's website at www.thecounty.ca. The meeting will be conducted as a virtual electronic meeting in accordance with the county's procedural bylaw. So, I need a motion that the agenda for the Bilton Cultural Heritage Advisory Committee meeting of September 3rd, 2025 be confirmed. A mover and a seconder, please. Thank
Arjun
you,
moves.
Arjun. Yes, and Valerie. Thank you. All in favor? Okay, great. Um, Now is there a disclosure of any pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Arjun? Oh, he's frozen.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think he's raising his hand for disclosure because he's frozen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's frozen in a voting position. Well, okay. So, not seeing none, I will uh, put the motion that the minutes from the Bilton Cultural Heritage Advisory Committee meeting held August 6th, 2025 be adopted as presented. Because I have a mover and a seconder, and then we'll discuss the minutes if there's any. Thank you, Councillor Hurst, seconder for the minutes. Thank you, Janice. Okay. Now, are there any errors or omissions or changes in the minutes?
Oh, that was fun.
Okay, then I call the motion to approve those be presented as presented. Move that motion. All in favor? All right. Thank you. Very good. So, any announcements, Ben?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Does the committee?
Yes, Bob.
Hi, everybody. I would just remind the committee that September 30th is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And of course, I'm sure that's an issue from a heritage perspective that's very important.
Mhm.
So I just want to acknowledge that and hope that the committee members will find a way to acknowledge the day themselves.
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Okay, then presentations. We have well, we have one presentation to look at the Cultural Heritage Master Plan, and Kanika and Heidi are here to do that for us. So I think you're on. Who goes
Actually,
first? Or is it Scott? You're
actually,
going to do
Sandra, I'll
some?
just I'll just step in and just give a quick introduction here. So my name, if you're not familiar with me, I'm Scott Portum. I'm with the Prince Edward County Planning Department, and I'm the staff assigned to this project. Yeah, I wanted to introduce Kanika and Heidi today. They join us from WSP Consultants, and they've been working diligently on the Cultural Heritage Master Plan project. And I want to thank them for all the work that they've been putting into this project. It's much appreciated. Today the purpose of what we're doing at the meeting today is just to basically update the committee on the Cultural Heritage Master Plan project. Um, just to give you a little bit of information, we're in phase 3 of a 4-phase project. So just keep that aware. We're not at the end point yet, but we're moving along here. The consultants from WSP are going to make a presentation today for the committee. They're going to introduce a draft of the Cultural Heritage Master Plan, and they're going to the draft and the presentation are now on the Have Your Say page of the county's website. And just to let you know that there will be an in-person open house for public input that's going to be planned for probably in about a month from now.
Mhm.
But something else I wanted to take care of was just providing the traditional land acknowledgement for the county. So I'll just quickly do that, and then the consultants can carry forward with with their presentation. So we would begin the meeting by acknowledging that the County of Prince Edward is on traditional land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this land. Today, the County of Prince Edward is still home to many First Nations and Métis people, and we are grateful to have an opportunity to meet here, work, and continue stewardship on this land. And having said that, I'll turn it over to Kanika and Heidi so that they can provide their presentation.
Thank you so much, Scott. I'll share my screen, and if just everyone can let me know if everyone can see. Is that good?
Mhm.
I can see it.
Okay, awesome. Okay. So thank you, Scott, for the introduction. You actually covered some of the things in our introductory slides. So I'll just sort of go through these quickly, and then we'll get into the draft plan. So thanks, Scott. You provided the land acknowledgement statement. So thank you very much, and great reminder that the Day of Truth and Reconciliation is coming up. It is very, very relevant to both archaeology and cultural heritage. So that's a wonderful reminder. Thank you. Our presentation outline, so we'll do some project team introductions, sort of reintroduce the purpose of the master plan, the project phases, and the structure and contents of the plan. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. So some of these slides, I think, because we have presented before, might be familiar, but from the Corporation of the County of Prince Edward, we have Scott Portum, Chris Palmer, and Angela, who are advising us and working with us closely on this project. And then on our end, on WSP, it's myself, Heidi Schaff, Kanika, Joanna Kelly, Natalie Armstrong, and Shannon Holness are our main folks on the project. So the Cultural Heritage Master Plan. So again, you are all well familiar with the cultural heritage sector, but we really like this slide. It'll very clearly illustrates the difference between a BHR, built heritage resource, and a cultural heritage landscape. And I always like to try and imagine it that BHRs and CHLs are old, important, significant things that are still standing, while archaeological resources are buried. So just like a really quick primer there. What is a cultural heritage resource? So built heritage resources are structure, so building, structure, monument, installation, whereas a cultural heritage landscape is a defined geographical area that can include a combination of landscape elements as well as buildings. What is a cultural heritage resource according to the Prince Edward County official plan? So that includes BHRs of all types, heritage conservation districts, properties designated under both Part 4 and Part 5 of the Ontario Heritage Act, can be archaeological resources, historical streetscapes, heritage roads, museums and archives, viewscapes, and other cultural resources as may be identified. So what is the purpose of our Cultural Heritage Master Plan? It's a proactive guiding strategy and a heritage planning tool. It does have a focus on BHRs and CHLs. It's a community-based plan, so we have engaged throughout the development of this plan to hear the community and make sure that we're integrating those goals and perspectives into the plan. And it's also meant to be an evolving action plan. So we cover a lot in the plan, but it's also a stepping stone to further conservation. We build on the guiding principles from the Municipal Heritage Conservation Strategy, which is heritage is fundamental to our sense of place. And we certainly found this to be true as we were researching and writing the plan, and when we did our field work. It's very evident that Prince Edward County has an incredibly rich cultural heritage. So this is just an outline again of the Cultural Heritage Strategy. Heritage is fundamental to our sense of place. some of the strategic directions and actions. We have built this plan to facilitate increased coordination and communication so that the county can lead by example with cultural heritage, making cultural heritage easy. So what tools, policies, guidelines can we recommend to make this more user-friendly? And also to invest in the economic benefits of heritage conservation. There's often a very direct link between the economic benefits and heritage conservation. Heritage conservation districts strengthen that sense of place, and the incentive program, those are really powerful tools that we can leverage. Scott, you touched on this, but these are the broad project phases. So currently we're in phase 3. So we have our draft cultural heritage master plan report complete. And now we're presenting it to get feedback. We're also going to be doing the second public open house, which will be in person. We're really excited for that. And then following that, we'll be gathering all the feedback that we receive and issuing a final version of the report. So I'll pass it over to you, Kanika. You're a little bit quiet right now, Kanika. Still a little quiet, sorry.
Sorry, is that better? I just increased the volume.
Yes, that is a bit better. Is it okay for everyone else?
No.
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 Oh, really? I'm gonna try and wear my headphones.
I've lost the slide feed as well for some reason. And I think the problem's on my end, so I'll follow along as
Oh.
best I can. Sorry.
I can try resharing just to make sure that it's
I've got some paper copies of specific pages, so don't hold up for me.
can you see that again?
No.
Ah, okay.
I think it's my setup, so don't carry on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Don't let me hold you up.
Oh, Kanika, now I can't hear you at all.
I am moving back to the speakers. Is that better?
It's better for me, maybe if others can confirm.
So.
No.
I can hear you all, like really loud and clear.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm full at the speaker level here, so I don't know what else to do.
It did help when you turned up the volume. I don't know if you're able to just sit a little closer to the speakers. Maybe that would help. You're completely on mute now. Sorry, Kanika. Sorry, everyone, just some technical difficulties.
Okay.
I can carry on with some of the slides, Kanika, while you just troubleshoot your audio setup. Okay. So the contents of the Cultural Heritage Master Plan. So we have the structure of the master plan. So it involves research and engagement. So we've crafted a vision statement for the plan, presented the results to date to the active engagement and consultation. We've done a lot of historical research and the identification of significant themes to facilitate the identification and protection of cultural heritage resources in the county. We have presented the results of our existing conditions assessment. So we did some field work to confirm existing conditions of some of the landscapes and built heritage resources that were identified through consultation. We've done analysis of the existing policy framework to review for strengths and barriers that are present to heritage conservation in the county, as well as completing a SWOT analysis and making some recommendations based on that for how to improve or strengthen the heritage program. And finally, we've come up with an action plan. So that's a cultural heritage landscape strategy. So a method to identify, prioritize, and conserve identified cultural heritage resources, implementation and recommendations for Prince Edward County, as well as drafting some official plan policy, either revisions or additions to strengthen conservation in the county. So the official plan cultural heritage policy review, some of the key things to take away is recognizing cultural heritage landscapes as a distinct type of cultural heritage resource, identifying policy gaps and updates, suggesting updates to OP policies and the general objectives and also to cultural heritage, and then specific recommendations for heritage planning policies to be adopted as part of the official plan amendment. So something specific to cultural heritage landscapes. We also conducted stakeholder and nation right holders engagement. And some of the key things that we heard is that, so we identified and engaged with 7 nations all told. And we had meetings as well with some of these nations. And so we've integrated some of those perspectives into the plan, specifically around the identification of cultural heritage landscapes, and then making sure that that perspective is presented and integrated throughout the report. So we took the results of the Have Your Say page, which a lot of potential cultural heritage landscapes were identified by the community. So this was our starting point for identifying the landscapes in the county. From here, we came up with a list of potential cultural heritage landscapes. So this was, again, Caring Place. That was something that came out of the Indigenous engagement, as well as from the community, Lake on the Mountain, and there's quite a few. So we started here, and then we built on that as we went. Here we have the SWOT analysis that we completed as part of the Cultural Heritage Master Plan. So this was a really useful exercise for us, just trying to envision, what are the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. So the strengths, Prince Edward County's heritage buildings and landscapes create a really strong sense of place, and this attracts tourism. This is like a shining part of the county. The heritage community is knowledgeable, engaged, and has really functional subcommittees already. So this is a really great strength as well. There's a system in place that we can build on. There are some existing financial incentives and grants, and there is already a formal heritage permit process. Some of the opportunities, we can celebrate heritage properties and leverage local heritage experts. There are some really great examples that already showcase the successful conservation that is going on in the county, such as Doors Open and the CAP Awards. Heritage resources are of great value to tourism. The BAAs are also engaged and offer some support. There are other tools that we can leverage, like heritage easement agreements, and then we can also, through this plan, develop this inventory of potential cultural heritage landscapes, identify them for future protection, and build on that. Some of the weaknesses that we identified is that there is no dedicated heritage planner employed by the county. There's no established terms of reference for heritage impact assessments, heritage conservation plans, or documentation or salvage plans. There's a bit of an inconsistent process for identifying and evaluating BHRs and CHLs. At present, other than the 2 HCDs, there's no delegated authority for minor alterations. So this can be a bit of a barrier for conservation work. And then another weakness is that heritage designation can be viewed as a burden by some property owners. And of course, we get to threats. Bill 23 weakens protection for listed properties, and there is this push to designate before 2027. So this is now a limited conservation tool. There is development pressure within the county, that because it's such a special place, people want to be here, which brings development pressure. So there's this is the good and bad as part of being such a special place, as people want to be here. But we definitely noted that development pressure is a threat to heritage property, so something to be aware of. And through this, the loss of heritage resources risks eroding that unique character that makes the county special in the first place. So definitely something to keep an eye on and get ahead of. I think one thing that we strongly believe is that heritage conservation and development can coexist, and that conservation should be integrated in that. It shouldn't be seen as a barrier. It's something that can enhance and be celebrated. So it's just trying to find out a way to do that. And then, of course, managing change should align with the heritage values and future needs of the county. I'm just going to double check to see if Kanika is able to, just check on her to see if she's able to rejoin.
It rejoined. Can you hear me
Oh,
better?
yes, loud and clear,
Oh.
Kanika.
I
Awesome.
literally did not do anything different.
That's strange. It was just a joining thing. Maybe I'll pass it back to you for the last bit. So we hear your voice as well.
Sure. Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as part of our phase 2 of the project, as well as the current phase 3, we've been working on not just the historical research, but as Heidi mentioned, the sort of the community consultation engagement. And through that, all of these sort of background exercises and engagement sessions, there were a lot of themes that sort of surfaced as part of the research. And that kind of became the basis for identification of potential CHLs in the county. So we focused on sites that reflect not just historic associations, but have design value, contextual value, or they might be significant to the community or the nations in the form of a group of cultural heritage resources, or even part of previously existing oral histories or written documents, such as newspaper articles or planning documents. So all of these sort of background research and like info gathering sessions that we conducted led to the identification of the CHLs, and themes became kind of the basis of what we started preparing our inventory with. Next slide, please. So as I said, as part of the phase 3, we've identified the following historical themes, starting from indigenous landscapes to looking at natural heritage, transportation routes, historical communities, agricultural-based CHLs, industries, fisheries, military, lighthouses, and shipbuilding. Next slide. Looking at the different criteria. So once we kind of had that thematic sort of approach to identification of potential CHLs, we kind of formed an action plan. And the basis, again, was not just the background research and the stakeholder and right holder engagement, nations engagement, but also looking at the municipal heritage register, because that also includes roughly 200 listed heritage properties, which obviously, given the impacts of Bill 23, have that risk of going off the register if they are not evaluated for cultural heritage value prior to Jan 1st, 2027. And of course, again, as Heidi mentioned, we have the areas which are going through development pressure, and we've kind of categorized them under the evolving communities theme. So we're looking at these sort of 4 different approaches, but kind of looking at eventually creating that action plan, which takes you to that final identified potential CHL. Next slide, please. And based on all of these sort of mapping all of these research and engagement exercises, as well as the review of the municipal heritage register, and of course the field work that was conducted in the last September 2024, we prepared these mapping figures, which technically gives you an idea of, like, this particular figure gives you an idea of the overall like county in terms of the identified potential CHLs. But as part of our CHMP report, we also have ward figures that kind of give you more detailed shots on the identified mapped potential CHLs. And each figure, as we see, we basically are looking at labeling or categorizing these identified CHLs in terms of theme. So wherever you see a CHL, which may be I1, so I represents indigenous landscape, and 1 basically means that's technically the first on the list. There's no, it doesn't have to mean that it's ranked in any particular order, but it is how we kind of listed them as part of our inventory. And of course, apart from the identified potential CHLs, we also kind of mapped the existing recognized heritage properties, whether they were designated or they were property of interest by the county. And if there was also a designated property under Part 5, basically a heritage conservation district, any sort of site which also has a provincial recognition, whether it's a provincial park, whether it's a trail, and we also have specific ward boundaries just to kind of help understand which CHL is located in which ward. Next slide. As part of the report, which again would be soon uploaded on the Have Your Say page if it hasn't yet, we have included an appendix which includes the list of identified potential CHLs. And this, the way this list has been produced, you'll see there are different columns as part of the identified CHLs. The first column again is the label for the CHL, which shows for instance in this case the first row shows NH12, which basically represents a potential CHL which belongs to the natural heritage theme. So that's why it's NH. And the second column represents the name of the CHL, followed by the location, again the theme it's under, the ward it's located in. And then if it already holds a heritage status per the municipality, whether it's maybe it could be a non-designated property. If not, it could be maybe part of the heritage district. So this column basically gives you that sort of information. And if it doesn't have any status, that's where we kind of highlight it as an identified potential cultural heritage landscape, followed by any other recognition that site may have. It may be a provincially significant wetland, for instance, in this case, the East Lake lands. And of course, kind of giving a reference to the OP land use designation as well for the reader who's looking at the CHL, and followed by the criteria why the CHL was prioritized in this list. So for this particular CHL, which is the East Lake lands, it's basically it falls under an area where there is potential or there is already existing development pressure. So it falls under the evolving communities criteria. And finally, once we have this sort of description and information laid out for the CHL, the second last column talks about the applicable policy framework and recommended next steps for the county. So in this particular case, again, for the East Lake lands, we have the recommendation as to add this to the inventory as a potential CHL. And as next steps, this particular CHL should be further evaluated for cultural heritage value or interest. And we also give a reference to the applicable heritage planning policies, should there be any development interest on this particular identified CHL, that specific heritage planning policy direction should be followed. And the last column, of course, focuses on the final recommendation for designation, whether this particular identified potential CHL is recommended or not for designation. So that kind of shows the action plan for each of the roughly listed, I would say 65 identified potential CHLs in the report. I should also mention that we also looked at previously conducted studies, which happened in 2012, 2013 by Stantec, the White Pines Wind Project. So all of those identified CHLs as part of those studies have also been included as criteria when you look at this particular inventory table. Next slide, please. Again, this is a kind of a mapping shot for the East Lake lands, identified potential CHL. And if we go to the next slide, we can see from the county's development applications page, every red dot that we see represents an existing, or I should say a current development application. So we can see, like with this overlap, we can see that we've identified certain potential CHLs, and then there is development pressure in certain areas. And that kind of also highlights why sort of categorizing these CHS is so important in this given time. So you can see the East Lake lands particularly have a lot of development proposed around that land, shoreland area. Next slide, please. And yes, I think that's kind of overall where, in terms of phase 3, the cultural heritage master plan is. That we've done a lot of engagement. We've done a lot of consultation with the community. Particularly, we've really enjoyed the Have Your Say mapping that is running even today. If you go on the county's website, we've got a lot of information from the community, and we really appreciate that. And super excited for this sort of round 2 now. And as Heidi said, the public open house as well. And eventually, as part of the phase 4, all of the feedback that we will be receiving now in phase 3 will be consolidated, and we will be producing a final cultural heritage master plan report, which will be presented to the council and the committee. And yeah, thank you. And sorry about the audio issue.
No worries, it happens.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation.
For your question.
We will have maybe some comments, questions from the committee. I can only see a few committee members, so I don't know if
Speak up. Yeah, perhaps if we
Okay.
can stop sharing the screen.
yes. Okay, good. Yes, Janice, I saw your hand up.
Something not mentioned that might come up as an economic benefit is encouraging the adaptive reuse of heritage buildings, even designated buildings.
Yeah.
And down the road somewhere, not to do with this, the cultural heritage strategy necessarily, is perhaps the county can come up with some sort of award for people that have done an adaptive reuse of a building, but exceedingly well. And putting things out to the public like that might encourage the adaptive reuse of a building. Got some other things, but I'll have to think about them.
Okay.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions from the committee?
Again,
Yeah.
Gord, my husband Gord, is here, and he's been on all of these committees. Gord, you wanted to add a comment?
If I could just add ones that Janice was trying to think about, although she has them written.
I have a list this
We have
long.
a long list.
Amazing. Thank you.
I guess one question I would have, it's not quite clear to me if the next stage you're going to go back to the focus groups that were created for the first round of input. There was, I see the tremendous reliance on Have Your Say on the website that not all people are going to be extra comfortable using. So a lot of us funneled our comments through Scott. And then I guess in my case, or Janice in my case, we got absolutely zero input back from the group. But here we are, I guess. So the first question, I guess, would be, are you going to meet with the working group, which, except for John and Janice, is not represented here today, unless they are following it on the county website, as a group, because they have experience in trying to designate a bunch of ones after whatever, is it Bill 21 or 4, whatever bad bill or it was. So are you going to meet with them to get their input? Are you going to meet with the focus groups that were created previously?
You mean the Heritage Designation Working Group?
I mean, the
specifically.
heritage, yeah.
Designation Working Group.
I mean, we seem to, the new PHAC format, and I'm using the letters loosely here, with the combining of the three pillars, seems to have gotten to a stage now that the heritage part is actually largely done by the working group and not by the main committee. That's the way it seems to me anyway.
Well, that works.
Sorry?
It works.
Well, I guess that would depend on whether we like the results of the amount of designations that have happened in the process, which hard to describe that it works when so few have been done. That
Well, I
was,
think that's because you have to have the discretion of the owners.
Yes,
The group took the view, if I may interject here, that we would make the proposition to the owners. We've written them a number of letters, had public meetings,
yes,
but at the same time, it has to be at the discretion of the property owner. And if they're not taking it up, that's another issue maybe,
yes.
why they're not taking it up. But I don't think there was any shortage of effort, shall we say,
yes.
to recruit people to this.
Can I add
Okay,
that?
And
Just,
as you know,
just a
we're now-
second, we're a little off topic here, uh, because we are looking
Well-
at this report that's presented to us and responding to what's on paper now. And now we look at how you go forward, and I think the essence that I've heard from Gord is that who are you going to be targeting the next public meetings and future meetings to the ones that you had before, and how can we make the input that the citizens in Prince Edward County, how they can get their input to you in reasonable ways. Like some don't like using the computer, some, as I said. So have you reviewed that? And that I'll think that I will not discuss the designation of heritage housing and the committee's work, because that's a different issue
Yeah,
for a different time.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I went offline.
And Michael has rightly pointed out there are many obstacles. It just isn't that makes it difficult. If the donors don't want it done, it'll not be done. So, okay, so now back to Kanika and Heidi. Can you answer that question about how you're going to do going forward?
Sure, thanks, Sandra. I think, again, echoing to what Sandra
We
said,
can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Right, I can take it really quick, or I don't know what's going on with audio. Yeah, thank you, Gord, for the comments. So we do have an in-person public house coming up. I think we're just talking scheduling, but planned for in about a month. We really feel strongly about meeting in person and having that meeting in person. We do understand that a virtual format isn't great for everybody. Some people love it, but we wanted to meet with the community in person so we can have those one-on-one conversations and sort of respond a little bit better in the moment and make sure that everyone is feeling heard. We have received all the input on the Have Your Say page, as well as the information that has been passed to Scott. He's been amazing at passing that to us. So I would encourage you to take a look at the draft. We have fully taken all those comments and the information on board and integrated it into this version of the document. So that's where we've really focused our energy, is getting it reflected in the document itself. So that is posted, I believe, Scott. So it'll be up for about a month before the in-person meeting. So we're hoping that's an opportunity for people to have some time to take a look, digest it, and then if you have more comments or feedback or input on any of the material that's presented in there, we would love to hear that in the in-person open house. And I think that'll be a really great venue to just get to know each other and you know, gather those perspectives. It's so valuable. I think one thing we've really seen throughout this project is how incredibly engaged and knowledgeable the local community is. So that's one of our big goals, is we really want to hear from you guys. And we think that in person is the best way to do that next round meeting, like that next meeting. So
I
So-
think
so
the
I-
answer to my question was no, you're not going to meet with the Heritage, the Heritage working group, and you're not going to meet with the previous formed focus groups as a group. Either in
not
person.
right now, no, not the focus groups. For the next step is that in-person
Okay,
public open
so
house.
my next comment will
Now,
be,
hold it, Gordon. So, I think that the best thing that the committee members can do is to make sure that they pass along the time and the date when it's decided to people of interest, and then you can make a go to that meeting and make sure we encourage people to do that. I think that sometimes people do miss notices in the paper. They're busy, and so if we personally know people who are interested in this area of discussion and have a passion for it, make sure you remind them to go, and maybe and offer to drive them to the meeting if that's where you want to get them there. So to that meeting, okay. So I think, has somebody else got questions? Valerie, do you have any input for this? Thank you. And Bob will be next.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just want to thank Heidi and Konica for this phase 3 elaborate and comprehensive draft. Going into detail, elaborating on the SWOT especially, that is pivotal because we're talking addressing rurality here. And so I'm thankful for them presenting this draft so that we can move forward. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And,
Bob. Now you,
I want to make the point about the list.
Bob. No,
Should I go
Bob
ahead?
had his hand up first.
Yeah.
Gord, yes.
Okay, thanks, Madam Chair. And I'll just add to Valerie's thanks to WSP and to county staff for putting this together and the presentation. I'm very interested in the theme that is emerging, and that's how we're engaging people and how do you keep them engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed, so maybe this was just my lack of understanding, but for this presentation, and I don't know if this is a presentation that you're going to continue to use, I had difficulty when we started talking about cultural heritage resources and cultural heritage landscapes.
Mm.
And then the rest of the presentation all seemed to be about cultural heritage landscapes.
Mm.
And I'm just wondering from a public communication point of view, if that's something to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
Okay.
I used to work for Métis Nation of Ontario, and they had an acronym for everything, like MNO. And we used to say, well, we don't use acronyms at MNO, but there's an awful lot of acronyms here. And I kind of got lost as I went through the document. So maybe you could give some thought to that. Also, I'm
Yep.
just wondering about synergy with some of the other public consultations that are going on. So, for example, later in the meeting, on our work plan, we're going to talk about the 2 heritage conservation districts and some public consultation we want to do for them. And I'm just thinking, I know I asked the question and I got shot down on this before, whether there was some cross consultation that might be done, and maybe not, but over the fullness of time, maybe there's a link between the master plan and some of the information that's going to be on the signage so that people can, for example, I don't know if it was Valerie or Edwin who made the suggestion for the signage, just the QR codes, the kind of, do you want to learn more? Go to this website and it might be the master plan. Anyway, just those are general comments. And if we can send, some of the more minor editorial
Sure.
comments into you directly afterwards, not to take up the committee's time,
Mhm.
is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and yes, Gore, I see your hand, Gore, but I want to make sure every other committee
Yep.
member gets something. You're not, yes, Councillor Hurst?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a thought. I'm looking at the chart that you included part of, which indicates things like official plan, land use designations, and other recognitions. And a large part of your presentation talked about development threats. And I think something that's perhaps missing that you could include in future revision is the existence of natural core areas. There is one mention, but natural core areas cover about a third of the county. And many of the heritage landscapes that you have listed now fall into natural core areas. So even though we put those areas in place from an environmental standpoint, they have the benefit of prohibiting major development when an official plan change is required. So that means that development pressure would be much less in natural core areas, generally speaking, than elsewhere in the county. And you might want to take that into account in future iterations of the report. Thanks.
Thank you. And Ross, do you have any comments? No? Michael? No?
Fine,
Okay.
thank you.
Arjan? Oh, Arjan's frozen again. Well, Anyway, okay, so then, Gord, you have one more comment?
Yes, the master list of, I think you said 65 items or something like that. And the WSP end evaluation of yes or no. Number one, there are a number of errors in that list. As an example, buildings that no longer exist are recommended for designation. Ones that have been moved, same thing. And it struck me with just a casual look that there is almost no recognition. There's some for natural viewscapes. Royal Road is one that's a yes, and so is Kibbins Woods. What's that one? I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Grimmon's Wood.
Grimmon's Woods, but all the rest are no's. And the same thing with the indigenous. It looks to me that the ones that have come from the indigenous community, I can't even remember one that's a yes. They're all no's. So I don't know whether there's some sort of bias that's built in there, or but when you see a list like that and there's gross errors in it, it doesn't lead one to be overconfident with the actual list. And the two that glaring ones that point out to me, Camp Picton, with bracket base 31, and the Minerva Cemetery. These are areas with books and books and books written about them. I personally find it hard that there are no's.
That was South Bay Church and Cemetery.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Arjan, you're back with us. Yeah, you're on mute, but do you have any questions?
I'd just like
comments?
to compliment the WSP people. Their
Mhm.
report, I think, is a good read. The maps are
Thank
fascinating.
you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, I'll be the last to comment. I'm thinking that in strengths and weaknesses and barriers, funding is a huge barrier for restoring your house. And in many other places, they can get loans or grants even from municipal companies, municipal counties, and the province. And I think that is really can be a barrier to people doing and preserving. And I'm not. The county doesn't even have a really good archives. Because I noticed you were researching the documents and those are solicited in the archives, but it's very hard to get in there, and we can just, the archives and the paper documents, I know it's only for a short period of history of the county, but they are crucial when we try to go in and do some research on even cemeteries, because there's no documentation there. So I'm wondering if that needs to be beefed up a little, and the other one is we have designations. We have come across the barrier of the insurance companies not willing to insure or having high costs, again, back to money. So it's not, everybody doesn't have $1 million bank account to dip into to do the restoration or repurpose. It just isn't there. So anyway, it was a good report. I enjoyed it, and we'll try and make sure to encourage everyone to come out to the public meeting in the future. Yes, John.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one more question. And Gord kind of raised the issue about the recommendations for or not a designation under the Act. It's not clear to me what the criteria are. I wonder if you guys could give us a little explanation of the criteria that you used in coming up with those recommendations. I think that'll be important to the public dialogue.
Yep. Okay. Yes, and Valerie, I saw your flash there. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. As you touch on insurance, I just want to make this comment briefly, that because of the regulatory roles of a municipality, it would appear as if there's a conflict of interest in intervening in insurance decisions with the homeowner. So unless the regulatory role, and it could potentially influence or perceive to be influence in our involvement. And therefore, when we mention insurance, I would rather have somewhat of hard questions for those sitting in those roles, if there is an establishment of roles, and so that it would benefit all parties.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure how that would play out, but we'll see. Thank you very much. All right. So anyone else? We'll finish and continue on our agenda. I need a motion to receive the deputation or presentation. Yes, Bob for moving, and seconder. Ross, thank you very much. All in favor? All right, so we've received your presentation, and we'll look forward to seeing you again in public meetings and back here. Okay,
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Ben, we're now got our presentation, yes, over with, and we are comments from the audience.
There
Yeah.
are no comments from the audience.
Okay. All right.
Registered. So we're into item 8.1 under items for consideration, which was the submission by the cemetery task team.
Oh, yes. Okay. So can you get the agenda on the screen
Yeah,
for me?
sure.
Yes. My printer did an untimely death. Whoa.
So here.
Thank you. A little bigger.
Sure.
All right, so we're dealing with planning file SPO 525 application for site plan control 2001 County Road 3. It's the County Road Cidery that the Bilton Cultural Heritage Advisory Committee endorsed the submission by the Cemetery Task Team regarding planning file number SP 0525 application for site plan control 2000 and it's I don't know if that took 2001 County Road 3 Cidery. Okay. So yes, now any discussion? Emily, do you have any comments?
No comments. Thank you.
Valerie, did you have a question?
Just a brief acknowledgement for the report, Madam Chair. Thank you. Did I miss some drawings showing those allowances or the actual proximity then, if you will? Is there drawings that show the area as such?
I couldn't understand you there, Valerie.
I think I can help with that.
Okay.
Because I got caught on the same thing, Val. The site plan in very faint line shows the access road and the boundaries of the cemetery within the site plan, but it's just hard to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we worked with the actual survey that was done in the 1970s of the cemetery that they mandated a survey of the cemetery, the Ameliusburg Council, because we were in our wards at that time, and they mandated having a survey done when they turned the cemetery over to the Ameliusburg ward for management. So we had that detailed survey and we know the perimeter of that. And at the time of that survey, they made a very wide margin around the cemetery in to make sure that they did not, there would be no encroachment on any of the burials that were there. There were very few burials there, under 70. So, and they make it an acre of the cemetery, and that's really well protected. So there's no way they're going to go into desecrating or digging a body up. Yeah. And so yeah, and the cemetery's been closed for a very long time. So yes, Bob.
Madam Chair, this does not affect the report, wouldn't change the recommendations of the task team. And it's information that came to me after we'd had our discussions.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked our operations group for a list of the cemeteries that the county maintains and presumably owns. This cemetery is not on that list. And so I guess it kind of raised the question in my mind, who owns the cemetery property? I know you say it was turned over to Ameliusburg, who was the municipality at the time. But I'm just but I'm just wondering if maybe that's a follow-up question, not part of the report, but just sort of an administrative matter to take care of.
Yeah. Emily would not know, and we would have to go back to the records of the time, and their record keeping, it was not very good at those periods. So yes, but we can dig.
Yeah, and I assume our legal department and the property people have access to GeoWarehouse, so it's just really a quick computer search to confirm. No cost.
No, there will not be a quick computer search to confirm, because the documents, some of the documents from that ward did not get into the possession of the county until 5 or 6 years after amalgamation. And many of those documents went into storage and then didn't get digitized.
But GeoWarehouse is the provincial
Yep,
run
yep.
registry. It has nothing to
Yep.
do with the documents in-house.
Yeah, but I'm thinking we're not linking it to what the Ameliusburg ward received, and like all the other details about that cemetery. Yeah.
So since it doesn't affect the report, Madam Chair,
Yep,
maybe
yep.
if you and I wanted to discuss
Yep.
it offline, I think it's a very simple solution.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on that one? Okay, can I have well, the motion, did we get a mover and a seconder? Did I miss that? No? Oh, I didn't. Oh, Ben, you're.
That's okay. Nothing we can't fix, Madam Chair.
Yeah. Okay, and for mover for this motion, the planning motion. Okay, thank you, Ross. Seconder. Okay, Valerie, thank you. All in favor? Okay, all right. All right, thank you very much. And the next item,
Is the working group update.
okay,
Um,
and in,
which would be up to the working groups if there's anything to report.
do we have anything from heritage designation? No? Oh,
Who is it?
Yo,
yes, Janice, I see you, yes, but,
I sort of wanted to state that in bringing forth 6 or more designations, Gordon, myself, in reaction to Bill, whatever, 21, we were approached by people wanting their places designated.
mm-hmm,
And we also had great success with going personally to the owner of a listed house. There's this great big long list of listed
mm-hmm.
buildings, and talking with people.
Yeah.
And that is how we got most of the majority of the designations. So if you are in an area and you know about a listed house, you might go and talk
Yeah.
to the owner.
Yeah.
It's people do not respond to things being sent out. They respond to person on person talking. And like I said, we had people actually come to us asking to have their place designated. And that is the most successful way to do things.
I think that Michael, the committee did that in the past.
We did that with a number of people. We, as I say, held public meetings. We did send out the letters, of course.
He was chairing.
Ernie Margetson.
Yeah, right now we don't know who the chair of the Heritage Designation Working Group is. Is there a chair? Because I know Ernie left.
Ben?
Yeah, Madam Chair, through you. No, currently the group has not met since Ernie has stepped down as chair. So yes, the group is without a chair.
Who were asking to make the report?
Yeah, so who should be coming forth making reports?
Well, again, through the chair, it has been members, there's been no meetings to report at, but members have provided updates, as you are, Janice, of like work that you've done, consultations that you've had with members of the public. We have not at this committee sort of restricted updates to the chair of the group, and the chair sort of just runs the meetings when they meet.
So if the committee members that who are the committee members for Janice's benefit and the rest?
It is currently Councillor Hirsch, Michael Miller, Janice, Liz Driver, and Graham Phillips.
Okay, so perhaps we can encourage the members to maybe Councillor John, you could take the lead to bring the many members to get together and start looking at going forward.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
perhaps it is time to get together again and work out a game plan for as we approach the end of the legislated period where the state will disappear, and determine if the goal was to take some conscious effort. Other than, I mean, what Janice has suggested are great ideas. Nothing better than actually approaching people individually. But should we do anything more official than that as a group? So yeah, perhaps we should try to organize a meeting.
Okay, Madam
So,
Chair,
yes.
I can coordinate with the members and just
And help
either
get it
and
going
coordinate with
again.
Janice and the rest of the members and either set up a Zoom meeting or a live meeting here at Shire Hall. You know, perhaps there'll be something more that we can talk about at the next committee meeting.
I would encourage you, Janice, to go back and listen to the meetings that we had when we were forming the committee before, and because they discussed a lot of things on how to make the presentation that you do to the house owners to make sure you have all the accurate information and for them, and they had a strategy. So I would encourage you to do that, and thank you, Ben, for bringing them together, and we'll hear back what happens then. Okay, thank you. Yes, Michael.
On that, just quick note, Madam Chair, I think we need to do a bit of research on this insurance question, which came up at previous meeting.
Yes.
Where there seems to be now some increased cost and difficulty with respect to insurance in terms of heritage properties. If we're going to approach people, we need to know what the actual situation is now with respect to this. We previously had a more optimistic view of insurance costs, but this perhaps has proven to be incorrect. And there needs to be another consultation with the insurance industry about their reaction or their attitude towards heritage properties and how they see the issues related to costs and so forth. I think it's only fair when we go out to people that we have that accurate information.
And part of that, Janice, was that one of the houses that got designated, the insurance company came back to the people afterwards, and then their bill went up $2,000 in a year, and they felt they couldn't cover that. I mean, that 2,000 increase in an insurance bill is pretty big, and so we need to help people understand, and maybe they consult their insurance company before they sign on the dotted line, and see if they can financially support it. So it's a little bit of a dilemma, and it's going to be greater. I have copied an insurance article on insurance increases in insurance, and I'm going to send it around to the committee because it is quite interesting. Anyway, so yes, thanks for that. So is that it for the designation working group? Yes,
May I just jump in? Yeah, so I think it's a great suggestion for everyone to regroup, kind of, look at strategies to maybe expand outreach. I think we should refrain, as individuals from maybe approaching owners of listed properties until we have an opportunity to do that. I think, numerous mailouts have gone out to individuals. And so looking at opportunities to do that again, I see the rationale for, but, you know, we as staff have had concerns raised in the past about, you know, folks feeling pressured to do certain things. So I'm just suggesting that, you know, we do that as in a coordinated way rather than as individuals.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Have some documents that they can present when they do the meeting. Yes, Bob.
Our committee's terms of reference, Madam Chair, I'm just trying to think back to it. Would approaching individual owners come under the term of reference about promoting awareness? Is that how it ties in?
Yeah.
Chair, I think that would be a fair interpretation.
Yeah. I think we talked about presenting a common set of materials when you go to say, you know, the houses, we would, you know, would you want it, and having some explanation and it's indicating that it is authorized that we're presenting and helping, who would help you do the designation. So I think that was I think that's what they did in the beginning. And so, and more formal than just, and everybody can talk to people when they have historic houses. I mean, and even if they're not on the list, I mean, some of them they're not all on, everybody's house isn't on the list, but you could encourage somebody if you thought it was a good thing to do, but and not pressure them to do it. So it's a fine line there, I think, from the public's point of view. Ben, did you have something to say?
No, I think that's fine. I think I would probably echo Emily's point that the key to success and prevention of future problems is a consistent message. Any outreach like this, volunteers would be representing the county, the municipality, and ultimately the municipality would be responsible. So consistency would be key.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Janice.
Also knowledge. You have to know what you're doing. Our experience, my experience is quite at the top. I know what I'm doing. I know how to designate. You need people who know how to do that, not only to interact with other people, but to look at what the person wants designated, what you agree should be designated, but let them know that the items on the designation list should not be changed. If there's anything else that they wouldn't mind being changed, then you don't put it on the list. And also in the past, Heritage Designation Committee people have agreed to changes. They've come before the committee. We've recommended, fine, go ahead to council. You can make these changes. So people on the committee have to know what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's why you're going to have to work as a team.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think we can move on now to another task team, cemetery task team. Yeah. We did when we had a submission, we responded, and I have got some documents ready for you, Bob. They're at the archives in Wellington with your name on them. Print documents there.
Great, thank you.
And I will be sending around the electronic versions of them, but they're big versions, and one of the documents is too big for a regular printer, so I had it printed off in a special printing so you could look at the whole picture. So, and we're going to meet again when you get back from holiday. Who's on holiday? One of the many are busy, and anyway, so we'll get better back at that.
I'm not on holidays, Madam Chair. I'm registered in the Bank of Montreal Ride for Cancer out in Halifax.
Yes,
Which
very
I
good.
hope everyone will go to my website and support me.
All right. Well, yeah, good, good, excellent. Okay, so one last heritage permit task team, Emily. Any more permanent permits required?
Through the chair, the permit applications that we've received have been circulated to the task team. We issued a permit as staff recently for signage at 45 Picton, Maine. That's the dental office at the Lake Street intersection. And that was with a modified design with a slightly smaller signage per input from the task team.
Okay. All right. Good. Just one comment. The Dempsey Cunningham Cemetery is managed by the municipality on Schedule A bylaw 2013-2020. And I provided you with that list at the archives in Wellington, but it is on there.
Well, we'll have to make sure it actually gets onto the county's list then.
That is the county's list.
Not the one that I received.
Well, yeah, I go by the bylaws that they pass, not when it gets somebody posts it, yeah. So that's fully posted is bylaw 2013-2020. And that's the official list of who's on and who's not. Okay.
That's a good catch because it's inconsistent. So that's good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it is a hard to find it online at the website. You have to, and I got it off and I printed it off, and I've valued that print copy a lot because I can never get it back online.
Yeah. No, then if the county's not maintaining it, it sounds like the adjacent owner is, and kudos to them for keeping it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's possible for all cemeteries. I mean, the small ones, we often get volunteers coming in from family to do it, and they go once or twice a year. But it is officially on the document that the municipality it was turned over through the ward process. But
right.
The documents for that are local documents are not digitized, so they're a little fuzzy.
Right. We just seem to have a discrepancy between maintenance and ownership. So that's good.
Well,
thank you to the adjacent owner for taking care of things.
Yes, and we do have others that do that as well, but that's where we need to know if we own them or not. Anyway, Ben.
Yeah, we need
work
a
plan. Did we?
We didn't receive the working group updates. If we could get a motion for that.
Okay. All right.
That the updates from the working group and task teams be received.
Okay. Mover and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Hirsch. Thank you, Arjon. Yes, and all in favor. Good.
So, Madam Chair, are you looking for updates on the working plan at this point, or am I jumping ahead?
No, just one moment through the chair. I know Emily just provided the update on the permits, but if we could receive that updated list. Motion.
Receive the updated master list of permits be received. Mover, thank you, Valerie. Seconder, thank you, Michael. All in favor? Yep, good. All right, now we get to the work plan. That the Wilton Cultural Heritage Advisory Committee discussion on the work plan will be received. Okay, work plan. Yes, Bob.
So, Madam Chair, I had one addition that I especially wanted the committee to be aware of, and also Councillor Hirsch, because there'll be some public interaction on the Heritage Conservation District signage project. Mark Kelly is currently going through a list of questions to see how they can be posted on the website. And thank you to Stuart for coordinating that. So we're hoping that that will be up sometime this month, possibly for about a month, just in case it prompts some questions coming in to counselors or to this committee. And then that would be followed hopefully in late October, early November, with a meeting of the core group of stakeholders to actually sit down and start to hash out some design proposals.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Janice.
Wasn't someone supposed to invite a rep from the insurance company to provide information to our team?
We did that in the past. They came, some of them declined to come. And they did have one in, but that's what we're reinvestigating now. And that the task, we talked about it at a former meeting here about the issue, and that will be part of your discussions when you meet with Ben, calls the meeting. Because it's a changing field in the insurance.
And through the chair, if I may, we're cautioned not to not to appear to be recommending one insurance broker or one insurance company over any others. So there were materials attached to the previous agenda for this committee from the Insurance Bureau of Canada and kind of more general insurance industry materials, without getting into talking to one local broker versus another local broker. That can be problematic.
And the document that I found also will tell you it's not just the heritage features, it's the claims, the number of claims that people make that are playing a role in this. And I'll send it out to you and you can read it. And that it was a very insightful reading. So I'll get it there as quickly as I can. Okay. Anything else on that work plan? I know some long-standing issues, yes. There some like the legal issue of we're still waiting on that. The lawyer coming back from
Yes, I've made inquiry. There's been some movement among the senior leadership team, and some of the pieces are still falling into place. But I have made inquiries with the municipal lawyer. Hopefully that bylaw will be coming soon.
Yeah. Okay.
About the review of the committee structure.
But yeah, okay. Anything else? All right. So we're
then just a motion
just
receive.
Yeah,
motion
we did.
Receive.
Yeah, we did receive it. We did get a mover and a seconder. Did you get that
No,
one? No,
not to this.
not
Or-
for this one. Okay, mover or seconder, moving the work at the Ross, the work of the work plan, and that it be received. And Michael, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, next meeting dates.
May I just jump in
Yes,
quickly,
yes,
Madam
yep.
Chair?
Yeah.
So last meeting, it was requested by committee members that we provide the remaining heritage budget. So we looked into this, and there's roughly $10,500 remaining in the heritage budget.
Okay.
And that could be used for focus groups and things like that involved with the HCD signage.
And does that money include plaques?
It does, yeah.
And do we have all of the plaques that for the designated houses already? They're all here and they're all paid for?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not true. Scotts Mill.
No, yes. When I asked Emily if they're here, they're not on some of the houses though. yet.
Yeah, some of them
through
are
the
waiting
chair.
owner pickup.
Yeah,
Yes,
through the chair, most of them have been picked up. I've got a couple in my office that
Okay.
the owners have been notified but haven't come yet. There are several designations that are in various stages of completion yet in the hands of planning, and a couple that are not yet in the hands of planning. So there may be several more plaques to be ordered, but they're about $300 a piece, something like that. So it wouldn't be a huge part of that $10,000 budget.
yeah, but we must account for that.
Mhm.
And because we won't get money, next allotment of money will come through when? Like this is what's left over in what we've had. So when do we get an infusion in the next budget coming in?
Well, presumably once the budget is passed and would be available next year.
Okay, so we have to be conscious of
Mhm.
of that and not just go out and splurge. So I'd like to know the number exactly of the houses that plaques that are possible, and then take that, reserve that money, make sure we protect that doing, yeah. And
Right.
then we'll talk about what we can do with the rest of it. Okay.
Okay. Through the chair,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, there are potentially 3 more designations
Okay.
currently in the pipeline.
Uh-huh.
If more come, but that's
Okay.
what I have in my file right now that are in movement.
Okay. All right. Yes,
All right.
yes.
So
Ben?
it's just a
Yeah.
question, Madam Chair. So who would I follow up with as far as the administrative procedures if we need funds for the focus groups?
Well, we'll have to come through this committee. Because we passed and make a move and make a motion to where to spend it. So you can talk with Ben about that.
So any kind of request for, say, end of October, early November, I have to make sure it comes back to the next committee meeting, I think.
Yep.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then does it have to go to council after that?
Yes. No, no, it shouldn't. No. But it will be visible in their minutes, but
Okay.
it can be here. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to see the pieces as we step forward.
Yep. Okay. All right. So yes, Ben, did you have a comment?
I was
there?
just going to say that the next meeting date, I have confirmed with Chris Palmer from Museums that there will be a presentation on some of the Indigenous history effort of the museums and the Indigenous recognition component within the newly adopted public art policy. So there'll be some staff members coming to speak about that.
Yep.
It's after the Truth and Reconciliation Day. It's our next meeting, but nevertheless, these are evergreen issues.
Yep.
So the committee will receive an update, and if there are questions,
Make sure.
then something to think about.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the date of the next meeting?
That's November 5th. We will be taking a break from the previous scheduled October meeting, just due to some staffing pressures, and but we will see you in November.
Okay. November 5th, you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bob, did you have a comment to make?
No, oh, sorry, no. I was just the hands. I have to remember to. It's this video recognition. If you put your hand up,
yeah.
Do you see it going? So now I have the hand up icon on my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it stays there for a while.
It's scary. Sorry, Madam Chair.
Okay, that's all right. All right. So our next meeting is November 5th. I hope everybody has a good October. And we have just enough rain to keep the wells full, but not too much for the grass to grow or the weeds. So Anyway, and everybody try to get to Picton Fair at some point in the weekend. Support local. Get your milkshakes from the 4-H milkshake wagon. Look at the plants and flowers. Our John is working on that. Anybody else working at the fair? No, no. Well, just come and enjoy then. The WI has a tea room open. You can come and eat your heart out on desserts for $5. And just sit there and chat with anybody that else wants to sit at your table and learn the history of the county. Okay, so we'll have a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Arjon. I need a seconder. Michael, thank you. All righty. Have fun at the fair and see you in November and some of us on committees sooner. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.